Albuquerque police are in the middle of a really, really bad situation. Albuquerque police have been caught on video shooting a homeless camper dead, and it has now been revealed that the Albuquerque police have killed more people recently than NYPD. This was captured by a video camera on one of the officers' helmets. And this killing by Albuquerque police of a homeless camper in the foothills outside of the city 2 weeks ago has now left a lot of room for interpretation. The clip is viewable to anyone who wants to see it. We're not playing it. It is very, very graphic. Sometimes we play things like this. This time we're not. You can easily find it online, okay? It shows that James Boyd, who had a long history of mental problems and episodes of violence, was challenged by three Albuquerque Police Department officers on March 16th for camping in an unauthorized area near the city limits. They woke him from sleeping, and a 3-hour standoff ensued until at dusk he's heard telling officers he's done arguing and he's going to walk with them. The episode could have ended then, but no. Instead, as Mr. Boyd starts gathering up his things, one of the officers shouts, "Do it." A flashbang-type device is fired at his feet. A startled Mr. Boyd drops his bags and seems to take a knife out. He turns away from the officers, two of whom shoot him with multiple rounds into his back. He falls. A police dog is released and goes over to Mr. Boyd. Officers show up and cuff his wrists. He was later pronounced dead in a city hospital. Listen to these numbers, okay? Individually, we could have a disagreement over this story, even though there is video evidence. Let's forget about this story for a second. Since 2010, the Albuquerque Police Department has been involved in 37 shootings. 23 of them have been fatal. According to Progress Now, Albuquerque Police Department officers have shot more people than the New York Police Department over the same period in New York City. New York City is 16 times larger than Albuquerque. What are we to make of these numbers, right? I mean, what is it that you could think of it a couple different ways? Number one, well, there's something about people in Albuquerque that is different than people in New York, where even though the city is 1/16 of the size, it is logical for officers to be shooting and killing more people than in New York City. That's one point of view. I don't know how you would back that point of view up with the data, though, Lewis.
Yeah, hard to say. Albuquerque doesn't stick out as one of those cities that has a crime problem, right? As far as I know.
Well, and it's not a disproportionate. There is a straight there. I don't know that I want to say that. I mean, what I would say is that it doesn't make sense that you would have 1/16 the size, yet more police shootings and killings than in New York City. That just doesn't make sense to me. What we do have, though, Lewis, remember, are the stories from Albuquerque police and New Mexico police more broadly about the forced cavity searches without consent, the forced colonoscopies and enemas without consent to look for drugs that don't exist. We are seeing a trend in New Mexico that to me is very alarming.
Right. And, it's all the stories that we're not hearing about that I'm worried about. I mean, I think overall police brutality and everything in that bubble is an epidemic in this country, but it seems like in New Mexico, things are completely out of control.
And to be perfectly clear, we have a lot of police officers and first responders in our audience. We are not saying, when we say that there is an epidemic of this, that most police officers have or ever would be involved in the types of miscarriages of justice that we describe here. What we are saying is that anecdotally, we seem to be finding more and more of these instances. But to be perfectly clear, I want to say it in no uncertain terms, most police officers would never do any of the things described in the stories we talk about.
Oh, of course, that's totally fair. I mean, if you consider the number of police officers in this country, obviously it's a huge number, but there still is a big problem within law enforcement in this country.
Coming up next, we've uncovered even more hypocrisy and double standards in the Hobby Lobby anti-contraception case that is now at the Supreme Court. We will talk about that and much more, including your voicemail.